There are a couple of clips that I want to get to based on the Democrat survey that I just mentioned with Andrew Klavan, finding over the course of 6 months and consultations with hundreds of thousands of voters that the Democratic Party is out of touch, that mentions in party platforms of language about racial groups, environmental justice, and LGBTQ rights surge. We're talking, in the latter case, more than 1,000%. Most Americans found the party is over-prioritizing issues like LGBT stuff, climate change, while not caring about securing the border or lowering the rate of crime. So what is the Democratic Party to do? I actually want to play this clip of Karine Jean-Pierre, which you'll immediately note is what not to do, because I think it makes an interesting point in that direction. So let's go ahead here and roll Karine Jean-Pierre on MSNBC over the weekend.
Do you have any regrets at all for anything that you said while you were speaking on behalf of this administration?
She's so close to the camera. I can do it too.
Look.
It's a simple yes or no. You don't even know.
No, because you're asking for a yes or no question. I want to put some context to it too. I woke up every day. Very proud to be the White House press secretary. I woke up every day as a Black woman who is queer, who no one had ever seen someone like me at that podium standing behind that lectern.
Smirking. He knows what she's doing.
It was a privilege to have that job. And I did it to the best of my abilities. And I spoke for the President of the United States, a person that I believe was a decent person. We did not get everything right. No one is saying we got everything right. No one is saying that we got everything right. No one is saying that.
When Karine Jean-Pierre is cornered, she throws up the shield that worked very well from 2020 to 2024, which is retreating to identity. I am a Black queer woman, she says every time that she's boxed into a corner by a journalist who will ask some questions that Karine Jean-Pierre would not get because she was intimidating reporters out of asking them by threatening to take away their access to the White House when the President of the United States was visibly ailing in front of literally everyone. And so this book, literally called Independent, just the maybe worst named book in the history of poorly named books, because it's exactly directionally correct, right? Like the country is looking for independent media, independent spirits. But Karine Jean-Pierre is the least independent. She is so vigorously attached to Joe Biden. And she didn't really have an option unless she wanted to completely spill the beans on the Biden administration. But even that would be difficult because it would make her look bad. So she would have had to cop to like years of lies and misbehavior in order to substantiate that going forward in her career. And we talked about this last week, but she is getting absolutely roasted for this interview she did with Isaac Chotiner of The New Yorker, where they go in circles. The New Yorker published a transcript, and actually reading her babble is incredible. This would be F3. It's just, when you see it in a transcript, the way she runs in circles when pressed over and over again on what are you actually saying. So Chotiner says, you argue that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. A lot of people thought that Biden was not the best person to go up against Trump in the summer of 2024 after his debate. With his approval ratings in the basement, shouldn't those people have tried to give Dems the best chance to replace Trump? You're talking about Biden like loyalty was owed to him. Isn't loyalty owed to the country? Karine Jean-Pierre, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that this is not how you treat somebody. Isaac Chotiner comes back. Is this a matter of how you treat someone or a matter of putting the country first? Very good question. Well put. Karine Jean-Pierre, wait a minute. Treating somebody with dignity is not the same as loyalty. What a distinction. I mean, the way he was treated, if you had seen something like that in the Democratic Party, please point that out. He goes, so what was an example of the way he was treated? Karine Jean-Pierre says there were lots of nasty articles. And so the New Yorker comes back with her and is like, so your problem here is that there were nasty articles. And she just once again fumbles, says absolutely nothing other than these like filler words where she's like, no. We have to be very clear. Wait a minute. And then her mind spins to come up with an answer that is, that actually like just sounds as though it's an answer to the question in the way her tone of voice. Getting overexcited, I actually just pulled at my own hair, but it sounds like that, but it doesn't say anything in substance. It's like when somebody just is completely trying to do the tone of voice that makes it sound like they're answering the question. That's what this entire interview is, basically. And at one point, New Yorker interviewer says, okay, but I'm not understanding what you being like a Black queer woman has to do with why you stood by Joe Biden? And of course, Karine Jean-Pierre has no answer to that question. She's just going into all of these interviews. I mean, this woman has saturated herself throughout the media. Morning Joe, New Yorker, MSNBC, Colbert, Tim Miller, Bulwark. And she's getting demolished just about everywhere she goes. She looks foolish, just objectively, everywhere she goes. And so, I mean, yes, the media now knows it has more competition, as Andrew Klavan said earlier in the show, and Karine Jean-Pierre obviously doesn't have a leg to stand on. But even then, the fact that she continues to go on these interviews, man, that girl wants some money from this book. That's the only explanation here. She wants to sell the book, get some money, maybe get some sympathy, show the Biden family that she has total loyalty, unflinching loyalty, which, as we said earlier, was not a choice. It's her only option, is to either say nothing or express unflinching loyalty or look like a complete liar, which is not helpful for your career either. So this is where she finds herself. Well done, Karine Jean-Pierre. And guess who is dogged by the exact same problem? Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, who sat for a BBC interview over the last couple of days and introduced the new run versus serve distinction as a cope to explain her position on Joe Biden's health, which came into focus during that debate. But of course, not before. Nobody had anything to say about it before, with the exception of like Ezra Klein in January of that year and the Wall Street Journal like a month before the debate. So let's take a look at how Kamala Harris, this is so bad. I mean, this is like, you've seen all the Karine Jean-Pierre clips. This one might actually be worse. Let's roll S6.
There is a very serious
The reporter's so confused.
between capacity to be president of the United States and the capacity to run for president of the United States. And so it is on that latter piece that I talk about in the book, about my concern about his ability with the level of endurance, energy it requires, especially running against now the current president.
But isn't it a strange message to the public to say, you know what, you need to be tougher and more able to run a political campaign than actually to be the person behind the desk in the Oval Office, to be the person making decisions in the Situation Room? So did you just not think it was that bad, or did you feel you just couldn't raise it?
I was concerned about his ability to run for re-election, given what the campaign would require.
So there's a pretty easy way to answer that question, which is just that it's not a great answer, but there's pretty easy. As long as I'm Monday morning quarterbacking the entire Democratic Party over the last 15 years, there's an obvious answer to that, which is to say it was difficult for him to, he didn't have the stamina to do the twofer, right? To be sitting president and campaign against Donald Trump. But Kamala Harris is so flustered by the reality that she has to spin. I mean, maybe she's dizzy from all of the spinning and she can't think quite straight, because there's just like, there's no good answer, but there's a better way to lie in this case. Like she can't even lie well. And yet, let's roll S7.
Your baby nieces, Amara and Leela, when are they going to see a woman in charge in the White House?
In their lifetime, for sure.
Could it be you?
Possibly.
Ooh.
Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
But you say in your book,
It's going to be
I'm
Lara
not
Trump.
done.
That is correct. I am not done.
But when you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, is that underestimating you?
10 out of 10
there
delivery.
are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls. If I listened to polls, I would have not run for my first office or my second office. And I certainly wouldn't be sitting here in this interview.
Maybe it'll actually be, I said Lara Trump, but maybe Caitlyn Jenner, first woman president for Kamala Harris's little nieces. I don't think it'll be her. I don't think it'll be Kamala Harris. I mean, you never say never. But something tells me it's not going to be Kamala Harris. Have you ever noticed those very creepy ads that pop up on your phone and seem to know exactly where you've been, what you've bought, even what you've been talking about? You've probably asked yourself, is my phone monitoring me. The truth is your smartphone is constantly collecting and leaking data without your knowledge or consent. Every day it builds a detailed profile of your life, your location, your habits, your interests, even the people with whom you communicate. That information is, of course, then funneled into an invisible marketplace where it's tracked, analyzed, and sold to the highest bidder, which, by the way, could include the government. It's not just annoying, it's invasive, and it's happening all the time. But the UP phone, the Up phone by Unplugged, is different. It's designed to protect your privacy from the ground up. No hidden trackers, no data mining, just a secure, streamlined smartphone experience that puts you back in control, whether you're texting, browsing, or using apps. The Up phone ensures your personal information stays personal. It's the phone for people who are done being watched, ready to take back your digital privacy. Visit unplugged.com/Emily and get $25 off a phone case with a purchase of a phone. Learn more and order your Up phone, UP phone today. That's unplugged.com/Emily, because your life should be yours and not theirs.